Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into a super useful feature in Microsoft 365, dynamic distribution groups. If you're managing users and communications in Microsoft Exchange Online, this is a tool you'll definitely want to know about. Dynamic distribution groups are groups that automatically include membership based on filters and conditions that you set, like department, office location, or job title, rather than having to manually add each member as staff come and go. My name is Brian Riley from Liftoff, and in today's video, you'll learn how dynamic distribution groups in Microsoft 365 can save IT admins hours every month on group management. I'll also explain how Copilot can be used to create these dynamic distribution groups. Before we jump in, just a quick intro. Liftoff helps organizations get started with their Microsoft 365. We specialize in licensing for the Microsoft Commercial Cloud, Government Community Cloud, and GCC High. We can help you with your data migrations to the cloud and get you trained up on your Microsoft 365 tenant. Check us out at liftoffonline.com. Enough of me talking, let's head over to the computer and I'll show you the awesomeness of dynamic distribution groups. Dynamic distribution groups in Microsoft 365 are awesome. Instead of spending hours manually keeping your group membership updated, you can use attributes assigned to each user to automatically track their membership. Imagine you have dozens of groups for different departments like finance, HR, or parks and rec. Each month, new employees come aboard and some leave for different opportunities. Historically, it's been up to you to remember to manually add new staff to their appropriate groups, so they don't miss important communications and have the correct network permissions. With dynamic groups, you can use an attribute a staff member already has to automatically add them to their correct group. For example, if someone's department field contains the word finance, add them to the finance group. Let's look at one of my users. Here's a nurse in our health department. It's Nurse Hardaway. If I look at her contact information, notice I have a few different fields filled out for Nurse Hardaway. I've got her job title, department, and even office location. It's worth noting that when you create new users, you have to take the time to add these contact information attributes, or dynamic membership won't work. That's pretty obvious. There are a few different ways to create dynamic distribution groups in Microsoft 365. First, in the Entra Admin Center, you can create a group here under Groups, and then New Group. I have the option to choose a security or Microsoft 365 group. As you probably know, security groups are used to manage access to resources within Microsoft 365. These are not mail enabled, so not ideal for email communication. Microsoft 365 groups are very powerful with a ton of great features and functionality. I like to manually add members to these types of groups, but you could explore dynamic membership if you like. If you're using Entra to make a security or Microsoft 365 group, you can go ahead and choose the type of group you'd like to make, give it a name, a description, and then here under membership type, you can choose to have users dynamically added, or you can even choose to have dynamic device membership in some of your security groups. So that's kind of interesting here. If I choose dynamic user, I would choose an owner, but here under my dynamic membership rules, you have a bunch of different properties that you can choose from, operators, and then values. We're not going to create our group this way because these types of groups are not email enabled. I'll show you a better way for that. The Exchange Admin Center offers a lot more options for dynamic groups. Let me head over there now. I'll choose Groups, and then Dynamic Distribution List here, and then Add a Group. Microsoft wants you to use the Microsoft 365 group option, but I want to do a dynamic distribution group here. I'll go ahead and choose that, and then next. Let's go ahead and create one. The most common one that I've seen is a dynamic group for all staff. Instead of having to manually put all staff members from my organization inside of this group, I can use a dynamic membership option to go ahead and add anybody to the group that has, let's say, an Exchange license. Let's go ahead and do that. Dynamic distribution group, all staff. Next, I'll choose only the recipient types, users with Exchange mailboxes, And that's it. I'll go ahead and give it an email address. Let's call it all-staff. The next, and then create the group. Let's make another one. Add a group, dynamic distribution group. We'll give it a name. This time I want to make a dynamic group for all of the employees in my health department. So we'll call this health clinic because that's the term I used for the nurse earlier. Choose next. Only the following recipient types: users with Exchange mailboxes, and I have some attributes here that I can choose. Department is a field that I can choose from. And if an employee has the words health clinic in their department field, they're automatically going to be added as a member to this dynamic group. Next, go ahead and give it an address. Let's just call it health clinic. It's available. Next, done. Now, what if I wanted to do one for a job title or office or anything that's not listed here? Let's go back here. We're going to make another dynamic distribution list. I'll just put an example here because I want to look at the attributes that I can choose from. So if I drop this down, notice I can only choose from a few attributes here: state, company, department. Everything else are custom attributes. These custom attributes are kind of interesting because you can actually assign custom attributes to some of your users here. Let's go look at this guy, Joe First Day. And if I come over here to others, custom attributes, there are a list of custom attributes that I can add to Joe here. So let's say that Joe maybe is a member of our company softball team. I can put the word softball there. You can add in whatever attributes that you want here. I'll go ahead and click save there. Now what I can do is actually create a dynamic distribution group based on any attribute field that I want. So if I want to do a softball dynamic group, I can go ahead and just choose next. And then my condition would be attribute 1, and I'd put in the word softball here. So the custom attributes are kind of interesting there, but I still don't have access to very many fields here that I might want to create dynamic groups for. So for example, job title, office, or really anything other than these three here. Let's look at what might be the best way to make dynamic groups using membership attributes not available in the Admin Center UI. I'm talking about PowerShell. Now, nobody really likes PowerShell, but it is a powerful tool to do many different admin tasks in Microsoft 365, such as creating these dynamic distribution groups. I'm not great at scripting my own PowerShell commands, but I might be the best Googler out there for this sort of thing. But before we do that, let's see if Copilot can help us generate a PowerShell script. Here in Copilot chat, I want to see if Copilot can generate a PowerShell script for me to create a dynamic distribution group for all of my staff that work in the Annapolis office location. Let's see what Copilot says here. First, it wants me to connect to my Exchange Online tenant. That's normal. Wants my global admin there. I'll have to put that in. It's creating a dynamic distribution group called Annapolis staff. That's fine. Looks like one of the lines here is for organizational units. That's if I was in a hybrid and I was connected to an on-prem Active Directory. That's not me, so I'll go ahead and take that out when I paste this into PowerShell. Primary SMTP address, I can adjust this also. And then there's a confirmation line here. So this looks pretty good. Let me go ahead and copy this, and I'm going to take this into Notepad and then finally into PowerShell. Okay, here in Notepad, I've already pasted in my script that Copilot generated for me. I've added in my global admin credential. I took out that OU users line there, which was unnecessary. And I put in the domain for my primary SMTP address for the dynamic group. So let's go ahead and give this a shot. Go ahead and copy that. And I've already launched PowerShell as an administrator here. Let's paste this in and see what happens. Okay, it's asking for my global admin password here. This is my MFA here. Hopefully you have MFA turned on for all of your users, including the admins, of course. There we go. And there it is. It looks like it was created. Let me go ahead and run this last verification command here. Yep, there it is. Annapolis staff was created. This is looking pretty good. Moving back to Copilot, I want Copilot Chat to generate one more script for me. I want to know who the members are of my newly created dynamic distribution group. So I'll go ahead and put that request here. Hit go, see what it says. All right, here's another PowerShell script that will list out the membership. Let's go ahead and copy this, and we're going to go back over to Notepad, adjust it, and then we'll run it in PowerShell. Okay, here in Notepad, I'll go ahead and paste in my new command. I'm already connected to my tenant, so I'll just get rid of that line there, and I should be ready to go. I'm going to go ahead and copy this one. Go back over to my PowerShell window, and let's see what happens here. There we go. So the members of my Annapolis staff dynamic distribution group, Tom, Ron, the two nurses, and Dr. Daniels. And I know that this is correct. This is a really great way to check who the members are of your dynamic group. Just a quick caveat here, if it's not already obvious, using Copilot or any AI tool, you really want to trust but verify the results that you're getting. So you probably remember I got a couple of scripts that were generated by Copilot Chat that I had to make slight adjustments for. After I ran several of the scripts, I realized that there were some errors, so I had to kind of debug those. So what you're going to get is going to get you on the right path, but it's not going to be perfect. So you got to watch out for that. Okay, buttoning things up here. Back in the Exchange Admin Center, I now can see my dynamic distribution groups that I've created. Clicking into the Annapolis staff group, let me show you one very important setting that you need to be aware of. Under Settings, and then Edit Delivery Management, if this group needs to receive messages from senders outside of your organization, you need to choose the appropriate option here. Otherwise, your senders will get an NDR. Each group has other settings and configurations that you can review as well. Now my dynamic groups are set up and membership is determined by users' contact information attributes in Exchange. With a little bit of upfront contact information entry, I no longer need to manually add staff to their appropriate groups. If this video added to your understanding of Microsoft 365, please comment, like, share, and subscribe to this channel for more awesome content on Microsoft 365. See you next time.